Someone, somewhere, is making money right now while doing almost nothing. Not gambling, not scamming, not getting lucky, just understanding how the system actually works. And here's the uncomfortable part. Most people trying to make money online aren't failing because it's hard. They're failing because they're playing the wrong game. Let's talk about the real one. Because in 2026, earning online isn't rare anymore. It's crowded. And that changes everything. 5 years ago, you could upload anything, post anywhere, try anything, and still make money. Today, millions of people are trying the same thing. Same platforms, same ideas, same strategies. Start dropshipping. Do freelancing. Make a YouTube channel. Sounds simple. But simple doesn't mean easy. Because every method that works online follows one rule. Money flows where value is clear and trust is high, not where effort feels high. And that's where most people get it wrong. They focus on what they want to earn, not what someone else is willing to pay for. So let's break this down properly. There are only 3 real ways people make money online safely. Not 50, not 100, just 3 systems. Everything else is a variation. First, you sell a skill. This is freelancing. Writing, editing, designing, coding, video editing, managing social media. Simple idea. Someone has a problem. You solve it. You get paid. No audience needed. No followers. No waiting for algorithms. Just one thing. Proof. And here's the catch most people don't talk about. Your skill doesn't need to be perfect, but your reliability does. Because clients don't pay for talent, they pay for predictability. If you can deliver something decent, on time, every time, you will beat someone more talented but inconsistent. That's the quiet irony of freelancing. Second, you sell attention. This is content creation. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, blogs. You don't sell a product. You sell eyeballs. And those eyeballs get turned into money through ads, sponsorships, or affiliate links. Sounds attractive. Because it scales. One video can make money again and again. But here's the part no one likes to admit. Attention is rented, not owned. Algorithms decide who sees you, not you. One update and your reach drops overnight. So while freelancing trades time for money, content trades uncertainty for scale. You might earn nothing for months, then suddenly, everything. Third, you sell leverage. This is the most misunderstood one. Digital products, courses, templates, apps. You build something once, sell it many times. This is where people start talking about passive income, but the word passive is misleading because the work is just front-loaded. You either invest time up front or money up front, and then you maintain it, support it, improve it, because the internet doesn't reward what exists. It rewards what stays useful. Now here's where things get uncomfortable. Let's do the math. Say you want to make $1,000 a month online. Freelancing? That could be 10 clients paying $100, or 2 clients paying $500. Clear path. Content? You might need tens of thousands of views, consistently. And even then, income fluctuates. Products? You might sell something for $10. That's 100 sales every month, which means traffic, which means trust, which means time. There's no shortcut here, only trade-offs. And this is where hype and reality split. Because online, everything is marketed like it's fast. Make money in 7 days, earn while you sleep. Technically possible. Statistically rare. What actually works is slower, quieter, less exciting, but far more predictable. Here's the pattern you'll notice if you look closely. People who succeed online usually don't start with passive income. They start with active income. Freelancing. Small services. Simple work. Why? Because it teaches something more valuable than money. It teaches what people actually pay for. Once you understand that, then you can scale. Then you can automate. Then you can build systems. But skipping that step? That's like trying to build a second floor without a ground floor. Looks impressive, until it collapses. There's also risk, not the dramatic kind, the quiet kind. Time risk. You can spend months learning something that doesn't pay. Platform risk. You can depend on a website that changes its rules. Trust risk. You can follow advice that worked for someone else in a completely different situation. This is why safe and real matters. Safe doesn't mean guaranteed. It means understandable. You know how the money is made. You know where it comes from. You're not relying on luck. Or tricks, or things you don't fully understand. So if you strip everything down, earning money online is not about finding the best method. It's about choosing the right starting point. Do you want control? Start with skills. Do you want scale? Build attention. Do you want leverage? Create something that sells without you. But don't try to do all three at once. That's how people stay stuck. Busy, but not progressing. And maybe the most important thing, the internet doesn't reward effort. It rewards clarity. If people don't understand what you offer, they don't pay. If they don't trust you, they don't stay. And if you don't solve a real problem, nothing else matters. So the real question isn't, can you make money online? Clearly, yes. People are doing it every day. The better question is, which system are you willing to learn deeply enough to stop being replaceable? Because that's the line most people never cross. And until they do, they're not really earning online. But here's something most people realize too late. The moment you start making money online, your biggest problem changes. It's no longer how do I earn, it becomes can I keep earning? Because making your first $100 feels exciting. Making it again feels like pressure. Now there's expectation. Now there's comparison. Now there's a standard you have to maintain. And this is where many people quietly drop off. Not because they failed, but because consistency is harder than starting. Let's take a closer look at that. Freelancing sounds stable until a client leaves. Content sounds scalable until views drop. Products sound passive until sales slow down. Every system has friction. It just shows up at different stages, early or later, visible or hidden. And then there's competition, not the obvious kind, the invisible kind. You're not just competing with people, you're competing with convenience, with speed, with people willing to work cheaper, with content that's louder, faster, more addictive. So the question becomes, how do you stay relevant without burning out? The answer is uncomfortable. You simplify, while everyone else is complicating. You focus on one offer, one skill, one audience, while others chase trends, because trends move fast. But trust builds slow, and trust is what actually pays. There's also a strange paradox online. The more options you have, the harder it becomes to choose. You can learn anything, start anything, try anything, but that freedom creates hesitation, because every choice you make means ignoring 10 others, and most people don't like that. So they stay in research mode, watching videos, saving ideas, planning, but not executing. It feels productive, but it isn't. Meanwhile, someone else starts with less information, makes mistakes, adjusts, improves, and quietly moves ahead. Not because they're smarter, but because they started earlier. This is why real ways to earn online often look boring from the outside. No flashy dashboards, no dramatic wins, just repeated actions, delivered well, over time. And that repetition builds something most people underestimate: reputation. Online, reputation compounds faster than money. One good review leads to another client. One useful video leads to more views. One satisfied buyer leads to repeat sales. And slowly, the system starts working with you, instead of against you. But none of this removes uncertainty. In fact, it introduces a different kind. Because now, you're responsible. For your income, for your growth, for your mistakes. There's no fixed salary, no guaranteed outcome. just feedback. Constant. Sometimes useful, sometimes misleading. So where does that leave you? Somewhere between opportunity and risk, freedom and responsibility, speed and patience. And maybe that's the real nature of earning online. Not easy, not impossible, just honest. Because the internet doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care how badly you want it. It doesn't reward intention. It responds to output. Clear, useful, consistent output. So if you're still thinking about starting, here's the only thing that actually matters. Not which method you choose, not which platform you use, but whether you stay long enough to understand how it really works, beyond the hype, beyond the tutorials, beyond the first failure. Because once you see the pattern, once you understand where money actually comes from online, it stops feeling random. It starts feeling mechanical, predictable, almost boring. And that's when it becomes powerful. So maybe the better question isn't, what's the best way to earn money online? Maybe it's this. How long are you willing to stay in the game before expecting it to pay you back? Because the system is already working. People are already earning. Right now. The only uncertainty left is whether you'll still be here when it finally starts working for you. And if you zoom out even further, there's a pattern most people miss. The internet didn't create new ways to make money. It just removed the gatekeepers. Before, you needed permission, a job offer, a boss, a company. Now, you need proof. Proof that you can solve a problem. Proof that people trust you. Proof that what you do works. That's the only currency that matters here. And proof is built in public. That's the part many people avoid, because it's uncomfortable. You post something and no one reacts. You offer a service and no one replies. You create a product and no one buys. And in that silence, it feels like failure. But it's not. It's feedback. Unfiltered, immediate, brutal, and incredibly valuable if you stay long enough to read it correctly. Because hidden inside that silence is information. Maybe your offer isn't clear. Maybe the problem isn't urgent. Maybe the audience doesn't trust you yet. Or maybe you just haven't repeated the process enough times. Most people treat lack of results as a signal to quit, when it's actually a signal to adjust. And this is where the game quietly changes again. From earning to optimizing. You stop asking, how do I start? And start asking, where is the friction? Why didn't they click? Why didn't they buy? Why didn't they return? Small questions, but powerful ones, because each answer removes a barrier, and each removed barrier increases your chances. At this stage, something interesting happens. Your effort starts to shrink, but your results don't, because now you're not guessing. You're refining, sharpening, improving what already works. And that's where online income starts to feel less like chasing and more like engineering. But there's one last layer most people never reach. Not because it's complicated, but because it requires patience most don't have. Systems. Real systems. Where work flows without constant attention. Where clients come through referrals. Where content gets recommended without promotion. Where products sell without daily effort. Not fully automatic, but partially independent. And that small shift changes everything. Because now time behaves differently. You're no longer trading hours directly for money. You're benefiting from past work, from past trust, from past consistency. And suddenly, the same internet that felt chaotic starts to feel structured, predictable, even calm. But here's the quiet irony. By the time it becomes easier, most people are already gone. They tried. They stopped. They moved on to something else, not realizing they were closer than they thought. So in the end, earning money online isn't a trick. It's not a secret. And it's definitely not instant. It's a process of becoming useful in a space where usefulness is constantly tested. And maybe that's why it feels so difficult at the start. Because the internet doesn't just expose opportunity, it exposes gaps in skill, in patience, in clarity. So you can follow strategies, you can copy methods, you can learn tools, but eventually it comes back to one thing. Can you consistently create something that other people find worth paying for? Because if the answer becomes yes, even slowly, even imperfectly, then the system has already started working in your favor, whether you realize it or not. And if not, then no strategy will save you, no trend will fix it, no shortcut will last. So the real question stays open, unresolved, uncomfortable, but necessary. In a world where anyone can try to earn online, what will make you someone worth paying?